All right, welcome to Mind and Magic, where we demystify the occult and discuss all things esoteric. Today, we're going to help you succeed by changing the way you approach your magical practice. So, let's get into it. All right, so where a lot of people tend to go wrong, especially when starting out in magic, is that they approach their magic only from one side. That is to say that they're trying to draw something to them or push something away. They're either pushing or pulling. And I had discussed this briefly before, but this is one of those things that can make such a big difference that it bears repeating. Some people are just better at pushing than they are pulling. And if you've been just constantly trying to pull and you're not getting the results, trying to draw things to you, then you should probably begin pushing and see how that works for you. Getting rid of the opposite of what you want. And you say, oh, well, Frater, is this just another lesson in polarity? Well, yes and no. I mean, I'm not covering the basics of polarity. Everyone should have that down by now. And if you don't, go back and watch the first lessons on this channel. But it does show you how polarity is embedded into everything and how important it is in your magical practice. So if you're trying to draw money to you, for example, by casting for extra cash, but you're not getting the success, then you might want to start pushing poverty away from you. So if you can't draw it to you, then you need to push the lack of it away from you. Now, you may be thinking, does this mean that I have to now do two rituals, two operations? And the answer is not necessarily. You may be able to word your intention statement to include both pushing and pulling. As a very generic example, you may craft your intention statement along the lines of, it is my will to meet my ideal mate and rid myself of loneliness. You're drawing your ideal partner to you while pushing loneliness away from you at the same time. And it's this two-pronged approach to your craft that is essentially going to double your success rate. And this approach just isn't for low magic. It's something you want to keep in mind for all of your magical endeavors, including evocation. Don't assume that just because you're calling up a spirit to do the work for you, that they're going to get it right every single time. In fact, assume the opposite. So you need to tell them what you want, drawing the ideal partner to you, and of course describing that to them, why you want it, to get rid of loneliness, and what you do not want. We don't want this magic to harm anyone. We have to bind down the action that we do not want to happen as a safety protocol. So it's basically three things: what we want, why we want it, which can always be the opposite of what we want. I want money. Why? So I'm not poor. I want a partner. Why? To get rid of loneliness, etc. And then what we don't want, which is not wanting our magic to harm anyone, or some form thereof, as a safety precaution, because there's just too many instances where people do get harmed by magic when you do not bind that action down. And if you do all this, it's going to greatly increase your success rate. It's one of the meanings of the two pillars, Jachin and Boaz. Yes, they represent polarity, but they also represent direction. You may recall when I compared them to the terminals on a battery. One terminal is flowing away from the battery, one terminal is flowing to the battery. Seemingly opposite directions, but when they're connected in a circuit, they all flow the same direction. So no matter if you're pushing something away from you or pulling it towards you, it's still giving you what you want. And this is an important concept to grasp, because some of you are just going to be terrible at drawing things to you, but you're going to be way more powerful at pushing things away from you. Pushing the good things away from you all of your life, have you not? And for many of you, things really just clicked right now. That if you've been pushing the good things away from you without even really trying, you could also push what you don't want away from you, and imagine if you tried. So it really pays to play both sides. It will at least increase your odds of success, if nothing else. But I feel this is going to make a huge difference in people's lives and in their practice. It resolves a major sticking point for a lot of people that they didn't even know they had. They've been approaching things from one side, from one perspective, and because it's not working for them, they give up or they lose their faith in it, when what they really needed was a new approach in the other direction, pushing instead of pulling. And that's about it, short and to the point. I'm expecting more testimonials after applying this, so let me know how it goes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Follow me on social media and visit mindandmagick.com for my magic programs and courses. This is Frater Xavier for Mind and Magick, and I'll see you next time. Take care.